right, welcome back, beautiful people. We are here a little earlier today, so the sun is sunning. But I'm happy. I'm happy to be back. Happy to share another message to see what Spirit wants us to know for today. So I'm going to jump into it. Let's see what the first oracle card says. We'll see if we get more than one today. We've been getting like two to pop out, so we'll see what happens. Thank you, elevated benevolent guides and ancestors, for receiving your guidance. What is it that the collective needs to hear at this time? All right, so today we got one, and the card is 346, number 346. Skipping steps. Details are important. You are moving at a faster speed than most lately, and your angels are reminding you to make sure you aren't skipping any unnecessary steps. Circle back today to a recent situation and make absolutely sure you did not miss any details or processes that could cause an issue later. And underneath the deck, we have 800 spiritual downloads. Prepare for new knowledge. This is an alert from your guides. Your angels are indicating that you will be receiving new information in the form of realizations, wisdom, and emotions. Sit in meditation and focus your energy on opening your crown chakra, the top of your head, in preparation for this divine light. Picture loving light flowing into you with ease through the top of your head into your entire being. All right. So there are some details that are being revealed to you at this time that Spirit wants to bring to your awareness to make sure you have all of the information, the wisdom, and the insight that you require to move forward on that which you are being asked to do at this time. And as you can hear, Lil Toto is back with us today. I'm going to do my best to stay focused. And then spiritual downloads. So there's some higher wisdom, some revelation that is coming through. Again, these messages feel progressive because yesterday we talked about cutting out distractions, going within, and listening to the wisdom and the insight that wants to come through, acknowledging and addressing things that need to be addressed so that we don't continue to take certain energies forward with us. Again, this full moon in Scorpio that we have coming up on the 1st, which is tomorrow, is a great time to release. It's a great time to be still. It's a great time to tune in, to tap in, and to see what wants to be expressed and what wants to be revealed. That's all I'm getting for now. So I'm going to pull some tarot and see what else wants to come through. What are these details, Spirit, that are important that you're highlighting to us at this time? What is it that we need to know about this information that's coming in? Yeah, we have the Three of Swords here and the High Priestess underneath the deck. And I'm going to show you so you don't feel like I'm lying. Three of Swords and the High Priestess underneath the deck. So again, this is going back to that energy that we were talking about, of this reflection, of this emotional processing. With the Three of Swords, this is about sorrow, this is about grief, this is about the painful experiences of our past. Again, we talked about yesterday what was the prompt for yesterday? Was that, what is this is this, if this is what if this is happening for me and not to me? I think what's the prompt? Anyway, go watch it. I can't remember. All of these messages are running together. But there's some revelations. The High Priestess, again, is about that energy of tuning everything out. This is also the wisdom of your Ori, the wisdom of your ascended guides, teachers, elders, that walk with you, that want to share wisdom with you about these experiences that you may be perceiving as painful experiences, that they want to reveal the hidden meaning or reasons or insight and revelations that need to come through in order for you to move forward, right? Because what I'm getting with this is, when you skip steps, when you don't fully complete the healing process, you end up sabotaging anything that you call in, or anything that you're trying to create or manifest for yourself. You will sabotage it because you didn't finish the lesson and you didn't process what needed to be processed. What's a real concrete example that we can give? It's like a wound. Even just thinking about a physical wound that you get. If you cut yourself and you don't go through the necessary process of cleaning it, of bandaging it, making sure that nothing gets into the wound so that it doesn't get infected, you do yourself a disservice, and you actually cause more harm by not addressing the wound and healing the wound and trying to force the process of healing. You can't force your process of healing. It takes time. There are things that you have to go through, emotions you have to feel. It's skipping steps. It's not a 1-2 process. And some of you may have approached certain experiences in your life from that perspective of like, all right, I'm gonna go through the motions and we're done with that now. But are you? But are you really done? Because when that situation presents itself again, is there some residual charge and activation that comes up when you revisit that situation? It's not healed. There's still more layers to go. There's still more that wants to be revealed. There's still more that wants to be felt. And that may be the mindset that you're in, like right now. Like, why am I having to look at this again? Why am I having to deal with this again? We done been through that. That's over. We've moved on. We have moved on from that situation. Have you? Because I'm seeing here that maybe you haven't, and there might be some residual layers of grief and processing that still need to be experienced and expressed, you know? So don't rush your healing process. Don't rush your grieving process is what this is really saying. Like, allow yourself to be in the feelings and the emotions of it. Again, don't distract yourself. Don't try to avoid feeling your feelings, because then you just create more harm. Back to the analogy of the unhealed wound, of a physical wound. Don't create more problems for yourself. I don't know, I just heard sepsis, but and sepsis is an infection in the blood, right? So like you not addressing that wound can lead to bigger problems and issues that you don't foresee down the line because you just want to get through it and you don't want to have to necessarily feel the feelings. You gotta feel your feelings. I'm sorry. As a stellium Capricorn, I understand how inconvenient feelings can be sometimes. But you have to feel your feelings, babe. Okay? You can't rush the process. Again, like this is also giving me like rushing into another relationship when you haven't healed the last one, when you haven't really reviewed and looked at what happened in the last relationship and what went wrong and how could you have grown and what are the things that you need to process and heal and move through. What are the areas of growth that you can go through before you jump into another connection and relationship and repeat the same patterns that you did in the last one. Don't rush the process. The process is a process for a reason. And with the spiritual downloads being underneath the deck, there's so much wisdom and insight that wants to come through, new perceptions, new levels of understanding that are going to unlock things within yourself that can only come through the process of grieving and actually going through the ritual of grieving. Grieving is a ritual, and it goes for anything, not just people who physically leave this world, but it is a process that you can go through with anything, any experience that you have had in your life. Oh, okay, that's what it is. You need to do a grieving ritual because we have the high priestess here. Spirit's like, duh. That's what I've been trying to say the whole time. Sometimes it's not obvious to me. You need to do a grieving ritual. And this Scorpio full moon is a perfect time to do that. Um, what are the experiences in your life that you are ready to let go of? What are the versions of yourself that you are ready to let go of? And allow yourself to sit with your guides and your ancestors to really tap in and see what that ritual process needs to look like for you. Maybe it's a spiritual bath. Maybe it's a burning and release ritual where you write all of the experience down and all of the pain that you feel, and you just express all of those emotions on paper, and then you safely, fire safety, okay, safely burn the paper and return the ashes back to the earth. Um, Maybe it's just crying and purging and allowing yourself to experience in your body those same feelings and emotions, and then allowing yourself to complete that process. A lot of times when it comes to emotional experiences, we stop those processes short before they can reach full completion in our nervous system. So maybe it's a ritual around body work. Maybe you do a meditation around a specific experience that you're ready to release and let go of. And you draw that experience back up in your meditation, and you allow yourself to go through the emotional processing of it and within your nervous system and your body and complete that process. So whatever you needed in that moment, maybe you give it to yourself as you're revisiting these situations and these experiences so that you can heal it. Again, maybe you just journal about it. Maybe you talk with your therapist or your coach about it. Maybe you do some candle work around it. You do a banishing candle. And you take a black candle, anoint it with some banishing oil, write down all of the things that you're ready to release and let go of. do a petition, place it underneath the candle, let the candle burn down, and that's your grieving and your release ritual. There's lots of things that you can do. Really sit with your own guides and ancestors to see what sorry, I was getting a call, to see what they want you to do in terms of what's going to be best for you to process and release whatever it is that you're ready to let go of. I don't know what that's going to look like particularly for your situation, but you do. Because you're powerful and you're tapped in. And this is necessary. Like, they're really reiterating that this is an imperative part of the process. Rituals are important, they're there for a reason. And a lot of times we just move through experiences and just let them be and try to keep pushing forward, not realizing that we're still carrying the baggage and the energy of those things with us while we're trying to also rebuild at the same time and trying to figure out why we're so exhausted. That's why. That's why. And as you do this purging and releasing and this grieving and mourning ritual, you create space. You create space for it to be filled with new revelations, new insights, new experiences, new opportunities. But you have to create that space by doing this grieving and this mourning ritual. Maybe it's just sitting and listening to, I'm getting parts work. So if you're not familiar with inner parts work, there might be an aspect of an inner part that wants to come through and express something to you. You can look it up. I'm not going to go into details about it because that could be a whole hour-long video in and of itself. But look up inner parts work. And there may be a specific experience that created some sort of fragmentation within your soul and within yourself that is seeking integration. When we have traumatic experiences, disappointment, discouragement, any type of experience, it can create a fragment in our soul body. And if we don't go through the necessary rituals, we can be leaving that aspect of our fragmented soul self in that experience. And that's energy that we need to integrate, that we need back within our whole unified field. So when you're revisiting this experience, if there's one in particular that is coming to your mind as I'm expressing these things, again, you go back into that experience with capacity. This is not, don't do this if you don't feel like you have capacity to do it. If you need support, go through this process with a coach or a therapist or a friend or someone you trust who can hold space for you. Go back into the experience and move through the experience as it happened and respond the way you wished it would have happened. So for instance, if you were bullied as a kid, and you're thinking about this one experience where you were being teased, maybe you go back into that experience and you as your adult self go into your inner child self in that experience and rescue that version of yourself and say, hey, stand up for yourself or defend yourself, or, I'm going to comfort you and console you in the way that you needed to be comforted and consoled when you went through that experience, but you didn't receive that. That's just this very small example of what I'm saying. You retrieve that aspect of yourself and allow it to be reintegrated back into your being so that you can have access to that energy again, because if not, you're leaking energy. And all of these aspects are staying in these moments in time, and they need to be reintegrated back into your being. And you're wondering why certain experiences are happening in your life, or why you don't have the level of joy you want to have, why you're sabotaging certain experiences in your life. All of these things that might be happening is because there's something that is unhealed, unprocessed, unexpressed, that needs to be reintegrated. And this is one of very many ways that you can go through that process. So that's your homework. This is going to be really helpful for you if you do this. I'm getting that, I don't know why, but this full moon in Scorpio feels very powerful. Like I don't know much about astrology. I know very basics when it comes to astrology, but it feels like a very powerful moon. And because it's come up several times. And so when things repeat like that, there's medicine there, you know? So I would really be intentional about taking some ritual time during this full moon in Scorpio and going through a grief ritual, a mourning ritual, a release and letting go ritual that's going to help you alchemize, metabolize whatever energy you might still be holding on to. I've given you several examples that you can use. You can do a cut and clear spiritual bath. You can do a burn and release ritual where you're writing everything down. You can do a banishing ritual with a candle, a black candle, a banishing oil, and putting your petition and what you want to release underneath the candle, burning the candle down, and then burning the petition. You can do body work. You can do movement work where you just allow yourself to be present and do movement and do somatic work, and whatever comes up in your body that needs to be expressed and released, you allow yourself to purge and release that way. Maybe you just cry to sad songs. That's a ritual. All of these are rituals. So those are several examples. Parts work, inner parts work. All things that you can do to help you move and alchemize whatever energy is coming up for you at this time. All right. That's it, y'all. That's all I got for today. I'm a little tired today. And I still need to go do my workout. So, till tomorrow. This energy is hitting me too. So I think that is also like, I've been noticing, you know, how this is moving through my own fields. And so I think that might also be what's contributing to me being so tired. So get some sleep. Dream work. That's another ritual you can do. Dream work. Yeah. All of these things can be helpful. All right. I'm just going to keep repeating myself. So I'm going to go. That's it for today. Until tomorrow. All right.